Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Zombie Movie Marathon. And today I'm going to do another double review. And this time you can see is a review of 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later. As once again, these are also sequels. I mean, also, this is also another movie series, just like Resident Evil. And on Resident Evil, which actually have a bunch of movies with each other. This is the only sequel, so yeah. But anyways, now, start this one off. This is going to begin with the plot. Just like I did with Resident Evil, because it started us with the plot of these two movies. Now, pretty much the plot of this film, 28 Days Later, is that there's a virus that was being explored by a scientist. Now, okay, now these movies are British zombie movies, unlike Dawn of the Dead and the Resident Evil movies that are pretty much American. These are actually British. So, pretty much, in this movie, this British scientist, he's exploring this virus that he likes to call rage. Because when you're infected with it, that's the only mood you feel most of the time. Is you just feel all, angry and, like super pissed, And, basically, if you have the virus, you're more than just doing the usual zombie stuff, eating brains or biting people. You just want to basically, trying to beat you so badly, try to, tear your limb off and all that. It's, yeah, brutal, pretty intense. But anyways, yeah, he was exploring it. It was already infected with, it is infected by, apes. In this case, it's chimps. Yeah, chimps are already infected with it. And he was, testing them, trying to figure out about the virus until a group of eco-terrorists broke into his laboratory and thought he can just, free the chimps. And he tried to warn them that, about the virus, that is, very deadly and all that. But they just ignores him and just free the chimps anyway. And once they did that, they pretty much, the chimps just started to, spread the virus around. And, yeah. Now, pretty much we cut to 28 days later, like the title said, and, pretty much the whole city of London is now pretty much deserted, obviously because of the infection, and, yeah, there's hardly any people around until we saw this, pretty much, so far the only survivor. He's famous laying down in a hospital bed. Now, it's no clue how will he even last to live long, to sleep in about 28 days. But, it's a movie, so, whatever. But anyways, yeah, he slept through all those days, and pretty much he, woke up only to find, the town is just deserted, and he's, the only person around, and, he pretty much searched around the city trying to find somebody, and it took hours for him to not find anyone until once he entered the church, he found, in which have a lot of people died inside of there. He eventually found some that are alive, but are pretty much all crazed. And this is just because of the infection, and he's started being chased by these, infected people. Now, every time I'm not calling them zombies, and I'll explain this in any minute here. But anyways, he's being chased by these infected people, and pretty much he's eventually rescued, however, by these couple other survivors from these infection, who are living inside of an abandoned mall, and pretty much they rescue him from them and took him to their lair, and eventually he wanted to he decided to go find his parents to see if are they all right. Now, the reason he was in the hospital because he had an accident, and he never seen his parents ever since before the accident. And he learned from them that about the Irish and all that, and yeah, he seemed kind of pissed off about it. The when he wanted to see his parents, he found out that his parents unfortunately died, but killed themselves, which means they're luckily enough, to not get the Irish like everybody else. Soon, the house that his parents live in were then broken into by other infected people, and they killed them. But one of the two people that two other survivors that rescue him had been bitten, and that made the other one, who's like this black girl, pretty much decide to kill him. So that just kill him right away, pretty much. Like she just knows that their friendship ain't gonna last any longer. So yeah, and pretty much they just started to search around for another place to hide, and then they came upon this this father and his daughter, and they're inside of a apartment, and they live on the upper floor, and they rescued them by infected people, and and pretty much the rest of the movie just shows they just go on a plan on pretty much finding a just these group of British Army soldiers that they learn about, so they can probably go up to them, and that they can actually have a plan to leave Great Britain. That famous now, obviously at this point, is being infected. But anyways, that was the plot of the first movie. Now the second movie, like the title said, 28 weeks later. Basically 28 weeks after the plot of the first movie, and that pretty much all the infected people, they basically died from starvation, and then the U.S. Army, the American Army, decided to help them out and take all the British people that were lucky to leave Great Britain, so they can probably live in America, back to Great Britain, and anything seemed like it's fine until this whole kind of like part of the plot here, and it's just kind of centered around his father, who in the very beginning of the movie abandoned his wife, and he was actually someone who lives in London. I mean, who was still living in Britain, and their kids were living in America, so they can have him safe. And they did. And at the beginning of the movie, he abandoned his wife at a house that were broken into by infected people, and pretty much he lies to the kids about it, that he just watched her died, and he actually just abandoned her at the house and wasn't sure she was probably dead. Although he probably think she was most likely dead, but and then and until eventually the kids went onto their house and ended up finding her under old house in London, and ended up finding her there, and they decided to and then the U.S. Army, they've been tracking them down because they're not supposed to leave, to go out in the suburbs, neighborhoods of London, and they end up taking their mother in their custody, because they believe she would be infected. So and soon the father, he's blessed that he didn't actually left his wife for dead after all, and then kisses her, in which was a smart idea, because then he's basically infected, and soon he just spreads the infection to a lot of people, and pretty much they're just everybody in London have now have to face the problem of the infection being spread again. That's basically the plot of that movie. And they're also trying to find, and I can also say that they're also trying to find her. The last group of the buyers are also trying to find their way to get out of Britain as well. So yeah, just like the first one. But anyways, that's basically the plot of that movie. Now like I was saying earlier about not calling these creatures in the movies, the villains anyways, zombies, but instead infection people, is that we're not sure they're not exactly zombies. Now, the infection, this rage, so-called rage virus, it's kind of a lot similar to rabies. Because in the first movie, like I said, it's transmuted by chimps to humans, kind of like how rabies is. When it's transmuted by raccoon, bats, dogs, cats, whatever. Basically, it's kind of like a lot like rabies. Though, and another thing that makes these creatures not like zombies now. And the only way to kill a zombie is you have to either three ways. One is shoot them in the head, which is pretty much the common way. Two is set them on fire, and three is just throw like a grenade at them or something. Now in these movies you can kill these infected people any ways. Happened quite a lot, especially in the second one where the U.S. Army soldiers are using snipers and all that. It even happened, I think, in like the first movie with the British Army. So so that kind of shows they're not exactly zombies, like real zombies. Plus, they can run real fast too. And another thing with the whole thing, they just want to tear your limbs apart and all that, and gray them out rage, because that's what this virus is meant for. But that kind of shows they're not exactly zombies. But the reason I could still put this as a zombie movie, because they're kind of like zombies, like behavior. It just feel like a zombie behavior. Sorry about that. My camera about to die again. But I was saying these are like they're kind of like zombies. It you get the whole virus thing. It just feel like a zombie movie here. Pretty much. See, other things to say about these two films. Pretty much, I was just telling you like how they're not exactly zombies. I just wanted to talk about how much of these infected people are. They're kind of very crazy. I think they're just kind of like intense. Like I said, like I already said, they just beat you up badly and all that. It's pretty intense stuff. Another thing I could say, the characters I kind of think are kind of like good. I know the guy in the first movie who played the main character, the one who actually woke up like 28 days later. I don't know his name, but I do know he was in the Dark Knight Trinity films. I do know that. Some of the characters in here are pretty recognizable. Funny, this is a British movie, and the guy who plays the general of the British Army is actually just so happened was a guy who played Doctor Who in one of the and like a few years after this one came out, which I kind of like. This movie also have 3 alternate endings. Nothing really on the back. But 3 alternate endings. That's pretty freaking nuts. All which have to do with the guy who actually pretty much. I'm not gonna spoil it. Sorry. But anyways, this movie 28 weeks later. One character I do like, Jeremy Renner, the guy you might recognize playing Hawkeye. Now, he played in this movie as one of the U.S. Army soldiers, and probably the antagonist of the film. Now, he actually, I like his character. He abandoned him, he pretty much abandoned his job with the U.S. Army. He's abandoned his role with the U.S. Army so he can just protect the kids when the whole virus is out, the outbreak once again. In this film, I thought he was a cool character, and I like it when he actually, sacrificed himself to protect them at one point in this movie, which is pretty much a death scene. Sorry to give that away, but it's not much to give away there. Wait, why he would do it? But anyways, overall, these two films are very good. I would recommend you guys checking them out. Like again, I don't know, you probably consider these zombie movies. Well, they are in fact apocalyptic, post-apocalyptic future movies. So yeah, I would recommend. So if you guys are into that stuff or into zombie movies, well, I guess you can like push it with zombie films because it's about a virus and all, which is pretty common in zombie movies and stuff. Yeah, but yeah, these are good films. Both of these, I recommend them. Some people said this is better than the old one. Like it said right here, even better than the original. I'll probably disagree with that. I think the original was good. There's something about it. Kind of feel like like it's a good British. It kind of just got a British vibe into it. But yeah, they're good films though. Both of them are. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed that. And stay tuned to the final episode, in which I will be discussing Zombieland. So stay tuned.